श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे। ओम नमो भगवते हनुमते आंजनेयाय अंजनानंदनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करं। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। असाध्यसाधकस्वामिन्ने असाध्यं तव किं वद। रामदूतदया सिन्धो मत्कार्यं साधय प्रभो। भगवते हनुमते आञ्जनेयाय। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम्। एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। In this Vedanta Sara text, now we are in the Adhyaropa Prakaranam, the section dealing with the universe, discussing the universe. When we discuss about the universe, we take it as a reality. Isn't it? So how was universe discussed here? We are talking about the universe as the creation, and we see if there is a creation, there must be a cause, and here Brahman, the absolute reality, which is not yet known, and Brahman is looked upon as the cause of this universe. When the Shastram introduces Brahman as the cause of the universe, and then that Brahman is known as what? Ishvaraha. And then which cause of the universe is Brahman here? This is Nimitta Karanam and also Upadana Karanam. The material cause of the universe is Brahman. The intelligent or the efficient cause of this universe also is Brahman. When you look at Brahman as the cause of this universe, material and the efficient cause of the universe, you call Brahman as Ishvara. And here we have to remember the discussion of the universe is finally to negate that there is no universe at all. Why? Because only when you negate the universe, you can negate the samsara also. It's like fear is there. Ultimately, you have to be relieved of the fear. For you to be relieved of the fear, For you to understand there is no rope at all, and there's no snake at all. There's no snake at all. You have to accept the snake and discuss about this snake. Discussion on this universe is like what? Discussion on the snake. Is the real snake? No, there's no real snake. But still, similarly, there's no real universe. This universe is like a snake. Because of which there is a, when universe, you take the universe as the reality, then there is a fear of samsara. And so accept, because in our perception is very real, the teaching is how finally, in order to relieve us from this problem of samsara, in order to help us see what is, there is only the reality Brahman, to negate the universe, initially the Shastram accepts the universe and you see, looks at this universe which is experienced as the Karyam, and then introduces Brahman as the Jagat Karanam. In that part section of the Shastram is called what? Adhyaropa Prakaranam. So we have already seen how the entire universe in potential condition is called Maya, the unmanifest, and that is, what is unmanifest here? The power of knowing. When it is unmanifest, it's called Maya, and the reality implied by the term Brahman, with the power of its power of creation, creative power, is called Ishvaraha Antaryami, where the universe is unmanifest. And then we saw, also discussed, then we say that the individual also identified with that Karana Shariram, causal body, is called Prajna, and the same Paramatma identified with this causal universe in terms of Maya, the unmanifest universe, is called Ishvaraha Antaryami. The last class we discussed also this, when you look upon the entire subtle universe also as what? The manifestation of Ishvara, or you can say Ishvara created the subtle universe. The cause of the subtle universe is Ishvara, then you say what? Ishvara is given a different name as Hiranyagarbha. Same Paramatma, Parambrahma, Chaitanyam, identified, looked upon as the cause of the source of the subtle universe, is called Hiranyagarbha. The same Paramatma identified with the individual Sukshma Shariram is called Taijasaha. Taijasaha, Hiranyagarbha. So in both these things, what we understand is the Taijasaha and Hiranyagarbha are one and the same. They are not two, isn't it? And here, now last class we started, before we ended the class, we were seeing the creation of the Sthula Prapancha. See, Sthula Prapancha Srishtihi has to be discussed now. So from causal universe, unmanifest universe, we came to subtle universe, and from there we have entered into the creation of the gross universe. Now what are we discussing? The universe. What is this universe which is as good as the snake, which is not there? That's what's called what? Adhyaropa Prakaranam. Accepting this universe as the reality, we are discussing it. Now, what about this gross universe? Isn't it? So, the Lord of the universe, the cause of the universe, the source of the universe, without which universe cannot exist at all, is looked upon as the Ishvaraha, the Lord. And that Lord, so as an universe, as an unmanifest universe, Lord of the unmanifest universe is called Antaryami Ishvaraha. The Lord of subtle universe is called what? The same Ishvaraha, the Lord, is given a different name as Hiranyagarbha. And now we are going to see the Sthula Prapancha Srishtihi, creation of the gross universe. The gross universe, here we discussed first Panchabhuta Srishtihi, the creation of 5 elements. And then what we saw last class was the creation of the gross elements. And the gross elements actually is formed of the grossification of the tamasic aspect of the subtle elements, isn't it? Tamasic aspect of each element alone becomes divided into two halves. Then what happens? There will be 10 parts, 10 portions of the tamasic aspect. Of the 10, okay, each half, isn't it? When tamasic aspect alone becomes what? Gets divided into two halves. We have 10 halves, isn't it? Totally we have 10 halves. And the second half of each element again gets divided into 4. And then 1/8 of each tamasic aspect of each element joins the other 4 elements. This is called what? Grossification. Each element has half of its own tamasic aspect, 1/8 of the tamasic aspect of all other 4 elements, isn't it? This is how gross elements, understand? Gross elements are created. That's what we saw in the last class. Is it clear? Okay. That verse, let us see the verse now. Dvidha vidhaya chaikaikam vidhaya chaikaikam chaturdha prathamam punaha chaturdha prathamam punaha swetara dvitiyamshaihi swetara dvitiyamshaihi योजनात् पंचपंचते पंचपंचते. So एक एकम, okay, vidvidha vidhaya. So tamasic aspect of each subtle element, each one, ekam dvidha vidhaya, okay, dividing into two halves, two equal halves. Then prathamam chaturdha punaha. Okay, punaha chaturdha. Again, the one half getting divided into 4. Swa itara dvitiya amshaihi yojanat pancha panchate. Then what happens now? 1/8 of each element joins the other 4 elements, thereby each element has what now? Pancha panchate. Each element becomes, isn't it? All the 5 in one element. Understand? Each gross element is what? 5 elements in one element. But what is the proportion? Half of its own, 1/8 of every other element. Listen, each gross element is this. Consists of half of its own tamasic aspect, 1/8 of the other subtle tamasic aspect of other elements it has. It's called what now? 5 in each element. The proportion we should remember. It's called gross element. Okay. Now what happens? Now we have to remember in this context, we are going to discuss the creation of the gross universe. Isn't it? It's typically like trying to understand this snake. The snake is not at all there. Why should we understand at all? But for us it is there, isn't it? So as long as snake is there for us, we need to study this snake. But studying what the snake is, what happens? we'll arrive at the fact that there is no snake at all. Isn't it? Similarly, we are studying about this Jagat, this Sthula Prapanchaha, the gross universe, how it came into existence. So for which the gross elements are understood here. How the gross elements originated. How the subtle elements were there, and each subtle element has its own 3 gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamasic aspects constitute each element, and what happens to subtle Sattva aspect, what happens to Rajas aspect, and how Tamas aspect alone becomes divided into half, and again second half of each Tamasic aspect becomes divided into again 4 parts, and which means 1/8 of each Tamasic aspect joins the other 4 elements. Thereby each elements become what now? The one having 5. Isn't it? All the 5 elements are in each one element. The proportion, you know, these are how the gross elements are formed. Okay. Now in the 101st sentence, let us read it now. Asya apramanyam nashankaniyam trivrit karana shrutehe panchikaranasya api upalakshanatvat. Suddenly, here what happens? Here the doubt might come. Isn't it? What doubt? What is this Upanishad is talking about? All the Shastra, no? Our Shastra, Vedanta Shastram, discusses the creation, talks about this creation of the gross universe and the formation of the gross elements. No? The gross elements are products of what actually gross elements are. How the gross elements become grossified, isn't it? How the elements become grossified. What is grossification? And this is the Upanishads discuss here. The Shastram, Vedanta Shastram discusses the grossification of elements to explain how the gross elements originate, as it come into existence. So here the doubt might come: is it really true? Is it very authentic to say that there is these gross elements are all nothing but they formed of the mixture of the tamasic aspect of the elements in certain proportion? Is it true or not? Isn't it? Therefore, asya apramanyam na ashankaniyam. Ashankaniyam means should be doubted. Na ashankaniyam means need not be doubted at all, should not be doubted at all. What? Whether it is authentic or not, in terms of its authenticity, authoritativeness, we need not have any doubt at all. Why? The same type of creation, the formation of the gross elements is discussed where? Even in the Upanishads, isn't it? Even in the Upanishads. And he also quotes Trivrit Karana Shrutehe. There is something called a Trivrit Karana Shrutehi. There is a Upanishadic, there is a Shruti Vakyam, and which discusses, reveals the Trivrit Karanam. Like a Panchi Karanam, something called Trivrit Karanam. Trivrit Karanam means in some other Upanishad, some other Vedantic text, okay, in one given Vedantic text, it is said, there is a statement of Vedanta Shastram. What it says is, it discusses only 3 elements. It leaves the air and space. Okay, it discusses the Akasha, Agni, and Earth. The Earth, Prithvi. Akasha, Akashaha, Agni, and Prithvi. It leaves what now? It leaves 2 elements in between. Okay, therefore, Vayuhu, it leaves the 2 elements in between. Okay, so the 3 elements discusses. But even though there we got Trivrit Karanam, the Panchi Karanam, there Trivrit Karanam. There also it is discussed as what the same way it is discussed. That is, they also become divided into two halves and they get mixed up. This is how the formation, this is how the gross elements are formed. Okay, the Trivat Karana Shruti means the Shruti statement discussing, revealing the three elements and their combinations. Okay, so it's already discussed, therefore we don't need to doubt about it. Is it true? Really, tamasic aspect becomes divided into two halves, and one half of the tamasic aspect again becomes divided into four, and 1/8 of the each tamasic, 1/8 of each one joins other one. Is it really is this grossification which is discussed here, is it real or not? Is to be accepted or not? Such a doubt we need not have at all. It is discussed earlier also in terms of Trivrit Karanam, where we talk about the three elements and their combination. Why? Because the whole Srishti is Mithya, isn't it? The discussion on creation is Mithya. Why? Because the very creation is Mithya. The universe is Mithya. When the universe is Mithya, creation of the universe also is Mithya. And the discussion on the creation also is what? Mithya, isn't it? Therefore, it's only for understanding purpose it is presented here. So we don't need to break our heads and ask, is it true or not, etc. Asya apramanyam na ashankaniyam. We should not doubt whether it is true or not. It is discussed in the Vedanta Shastram. Then Upalakshanatvat. So Panchikaranasya Upalakshana means what has been discussed in Trivrit Karana Shruti itself is what? Upalakshanam for this also. Which means Upalakshana means sometimes revealing one thing becomes a means for understanding something else also. I'll give you an example. Suppose if I ask Mita, would you please get me a cup of tea? Okay, cup of tea. And she will not, would you please get me a drink? Okay, would you please get me a drink? If I ask, and she without moving an inch from here, she's wondering, you asked me for a drink, how I should bring you a drink? You know, when I ask for a drink, it is implied what? Bring the drink definitely in a cup, isn't it? She doesn't need to worry. Cup is implied. I do not tell her, please get me a drink in a cup. I don't need to tell her. Would you please get me a drink means, please get me the drink in a cup is also implied, isn't it? This is called Upalakshanam. Asking for the tea implies that whoever brings the tea must bring it in a container, isn't it? Cup or tumbler. Similarly here, once it is Trivrit Karana Shruti has been discussed already, means what? Panchikaranam, no? That is what Upalakshanatvat means, is already understood that we do not doubt about it at all. It is that discussion on this Panchikaranam, grossification of elements is there in this discussion is there. Okay, got it? Discussion on the grossification of elements need not be questioned, undoubted. It is very much there. Even though it is there, we should remember what? It's only all the discussions on Srishti is only Mithya. Okay. Now, Panchanam Panchatmakatve Samane api Teshu cha Vaiseshyatu Tadvadas Tadvadaha Iti Nyayena Akashadi Yapadeshaha Sambhavati. This 102nd sentence. So here here an answer for the possible doubt is given. What is the possible doubt? No? We have understood how the gross elements are created. We have understood how gross elements are formed. And here there's another sentence stating what? We need not doubt about this discussion on formation of gross elements at all. It is discussed in the Vedanta Shastram, in the Upanishads. He also quotes what now? Trivitkarana Shrutihi. Isn't it? It's not the same thing. No? Even though the discussion on the 3 elements are discussed, it implies what? All the 5 elements. Isn't it? Therefore, we don't need to doubt about it. That's what he said earlier. Now, the possible doubt is, if each gross element, in each gross element, 5 elements are there. Isn't it? Each gross element has what? All the 5 elements. Tamasic aspect of all the 5 elements are there in each gross element. Now, when you say space, gross space is not just the space alone, isn't it? Space includes what? 1/8 of the each. Suppose the gross space is equal to half space, isn't it? Space plus 1/8 of the water, 1/8 of the fire, 1/8 of the water, 1/8 of the earth also, isn't it? So each gross element has 5 elements in it. Therefore, they should be named after which element, isn't it? For what doubt might come. So here there is a Brahma Sutram. No, Brahma Sutram is called Nyaya Sutram. No, the analytical study of the Upanishads is called Nyaya Sutram or Brahma Sutram, written by Vyasacharya. And here this author quotes this Brahma Sutram. Look at this. Vaiseshyatu tadvadaha tadvadaha. He says Vaiseshyatu means whatever is the in each element. Suppose when you say space, the gross element space is called a space because even though it has 1/8 of the other 4 elements, what is there predominantly, isn't it? The main aspect of the gross space is what? Space. Isn't it? So the main aspect of the gross air is air. Therefore, each element is named after the predominant aspect of the gross element. Even though each gross element consists of all the 5 elements, each element is known after the predominant aspect of the element. Therefore, gross space is called what? Space. Why? Because space is half. So, air. And keeping with the predominant aspect of the element is known by the same word. But tadvadaha, tadvadaha. Is it clear now? Tadvadaha means that is the word. Tadvadaha is repeated here because the sutram comes at the end of the chapter or something, therefore repetition. But actually Vaiseshyatu tadvadaha means, it's a sutram stating that each element is named after the predominant aspect of the element. So in space, if we take the gross space, predominant aspect of the element being space, it's called Akashaha. Is clear now? Okay. Nyayena Akashadi Vyapadeshaha Sambhavati. We say what now? Space, air, fire, water, earth. These are the 5 names used to mean the gross elements. Why are they named as space, air, fire, water, earth? Because predominantly it's each, whichever aspect is predominant, in keeping the predominance of the aspect, each element is named. Gross elements are also named as space, air, fire, water, earth. Is it clear? That's what is discussed, revealed in this 102nd sentence. Let us go to the next one now. Tadanim Akashe Shabdah Abhivyajyate Vayo Shabdah sorry Shabdasparshau Agno Shabdah Shabdasparsha Rupani Apsu Shabdasparsha Ruparasaha Prithivyam Shabdasparsha Ruparasa Gandhascha. Okay. Tadanim. Okay. Tadanim means, now what happens? When these elements are all grossified, these grossified elements, the properties become manifest, isn't it? Now he says, Akashe Shabdaha Abhivyajyate. Abhivyaktihi means manifestation. Isn't it? Manifestation. Abhivyajyate means manifested. So, Akashe Shabdaha Abhivyajyate. Sound is manifested in space. Understand? As its property. Now, Vayo in the air, Shabdasparshau. In Vayu, Shabdaha, the property of the Akasha space and its own property called what? Sparshaha. Isn't it? Shabdaha, Sparshaha. Two properties are manifested in the air. Then Agno, in the fire, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupani. In fire, three properties, the two of the other elements and its own, isn't it? See, Agno, in the fire, Shabdaha, Sparshaha, Rupam. So sound, touch and form, these three properties are manifested in the fire. Apsu. Shabda, then Apsu means in the waters. Next is Apsu, you have to pick it. Apsu, in the waters. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasaha. So the four properties manifest in what? The water. So Shabda, Sparsha, sound, touch, form and taste. Prithivyam, then in the earth, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandhascha. So in the earth element, five properties manifest. What are they here? Shabda, sound, touch, form, taste and smell. So the five are manifested in the earth, which means Akashe Shabdaha Abhivyajyate, Vayo Shabdasparshau, then Agno Shabdasparsha Rupani, Apsu Shabdasparsha Rupa Rasaha, Prithivyam Shabdasparsha Rupa Rasa Gandhaha Cha. Subtler the element, less property it has, isn't it? The Akasha is the subtlest of the elements. It has only one property. Air is subtler than fire, but grosser than space, therefore it has two properties. Whereas fire has three. Okay, fire is grosser than air. Then we can say water is grosser than fire, it has four. Earth is the grossest of the elements, it has five properties. Isn't it? Earth, you can smell, you can taste, you can see, it has a form, you can touch, it has sound also. Isn't it? All the five properties are there. Therefore, earth manifests all the five. All the five are manifested in the earth. So when they become, elements become grossified, in those grossified elements, these properties are manifested. Okay. Etebhyah. Now these are the five gross elements manifesting these five different properties, and each element having its own property along with the other properties also. Is it? So grosser the element, it has more properties also manifested. So now he is going to talk about the entire gross universe, samashti sthula prapanchaha. What is entire gross universe? Isn't it? You are going to understand. The entire gross universe consisting of the known world and the unknown worlds, of all the 14 worlds the Shastram talk about, all of them are what? The products of these five gross elements only. The entire cosmos is five gross elemental cosmos, elemental universe. That is what is discussed here. Etebhyah panchikritebhyah bhutebhyah. So etebhyah panchikritebhyah bhutebhyah means, what does it mean? From these five grossified elements alone, okay, the 14 worlds have originated. Which means what? All these 14 worlds constituting this cosmos, entire cosmos is what? Actually the products of the five elements. The five elemental pancha bhautika prapanchaha. Five elemental universe consists of 14 worlds. What are they? Let us see it now. Bhuhu, bhuvaha, swaha, mahaha, janaha, tapaha, satyam, iti, etannamaka, etannamakanam, upari upari, vidyamananam, atala, vitala, sutala, rasatala, Tala. Remember Rasagulla now, okay? Tala. Mahatala. Patala. Namaka. Okay, Namakanam. Adho. Adhodho. Vidyamananam. Lokanam. Brahmandasya. Tad. Antargata. Chaturvidha. Sthula shariranam. Tad uchitanam. Annapanadinam. Annapanadinam cha utpattihi bhavati. See, in one paragraph he talks about now what all have originated from the five elements. Okay, the five gross elements alone become the 14 gross, no, the 14 worlds constituting the entire universe, loka srishti. Then in those lokas, the beings, isn't it? No, sthula, bhuta srishti and sthula, loka srishti. Now in those gross 14 worlds, they what now? We say jantu srishti. Then there are beings and their food. Jiva srishti, anna srishti, then loka srishti. All the three are discussed here. All the three come under the category of what? Sthula prapancha srishti. Sthula, see, loka srishti, sthula sharira srishti, then anna srishti, food, isn't it? Loka srishti, sharira srishti, anna srishti. Three are discussed here. I don't want to use the word jiva, okay? He says, etebhyaha panchikritebhyaha bhutebhyaha, means from these 5 grossified elements alone, utpattihi bhavati, last word, no? The creation happens. Creation of what? He says, bhuhu, bhu lokaha is the loka where we live. Okay? Only one word known to us, that also is not known very well. Isn't it? Bhulokaha is what? The world where the human beings live. And why we live in Bhuloka? Because we are a mixture of both punyam and papam. Isn't it? We have both punya karma, punyam in our account. We have papam also in our account. We don't have only papam. We don't have only punyam. We have mixture of both punyam and papam in our account. Therefore, all this now Manushya Loka is what? Bhu Lokaha, where we live. Bhu Loka. Then afterwards, onwards, Bhuvaha, Swaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. There are 6 worlds above us, isn't it? All those 6 worlds, he says, iti yetan namakanam upari 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 vidyamananam. One is above the other. Each one is like now one above the other. So bhuhu, we are here in the middle. Above us is what is there? Above our world. Bhuloka, Bhurloka is next to bhuhu upari, which is above what? Doubt comes, isn't it? Therefore, above the Bhuloka there is Bhuvaha. Then above it Suvaha. Then Mahaha. Then Janaha. Then Tapaha. Then Satyalokaha. Okay? So highest of the lokas is called what? Satyalokaha. Okay. So only beings which only have punyam, in keeping with the proportion of the punyam, isn't it? Or intensity of punyam, they will be in any one of these higher lokas. Like living in a multi-storied building, isn't it? And we are in the middle. We have both punyam and papam. And there are also lokas which are down below. What are those lokas? He says, upari upari vidyamananam, then utpattihi. Okay, the 7 worlds, higher lokas also created of these gross elements only. Then atala, vitala, sutala, rasatala, talatala, mahatala, patala, namakanam, adho adho vidyamananam. The same way, one below the other. Okay, there are 7 lokas below. So just down below Bhuhu is what? Just down below Bhuhu is what? Atala. Then after that, below there, no, Vitala. Then Sutala. Then Rasatala. Then Talatala. Mahatala. Patala is what? Okay, like lowest of the loka is called Patala. And if the worst papam alone we have, in keeping with the intensity of the papam, will be in what? Not we. There are beings, must be beings in the different other lokas. Lower lokas, higher lokas. And the lower, lowest is what? Patala. So high, higher, highest is what? Satyaloka. And where are we? 6 above, 7 below. We are in the 8th place. Bhuloka. So what Shastram says, these are the 14 lokas. And all these Chaturvidha, with Brahmandasya. So this entire Brahmanda means the entire cosmos, the entire universe, consisting of Bhuloka and the other total 14 lokas known in the unknown worlds. All of them are what? All of them come under the gross universe. They're all elemental universe only. Elemental worlds. Coming within the what? Elemental universe, cosmos. Then, not only them, tad antargata chaturvida sthula shariranam utpattihi. And tad antargata, in those 14 worlds, he says what now? Tad antargata chaturvidha, there are 4 types of physical bodies are there. There are only 4 types of physical bodies. Okay? The 4 types of physical bodies, and which are there within these 14 worlds, and those physical bodies are also within this universe alone, within this gross elemental universe alone, exist what? The gross bodies. And the gross bodies are also products of the gross elements. And how many are they? The 4 types of gross bodies. You don't need to worry about the 5th type of gross body, okay? There are only 4 types of gross bodies. Then, tadu uchitanam annapanadinam cha utpattihi. So not only these physical bodies, 4 types of physical bodies, that there is a universe consisting of 14 lokas, and within that universe there are gross bodies and 4 types of gross bodies, and appropriate food and drink required for sustaining those gross bodies. All of them are what now? Products of 5 gross elements. So there is a creation of the gross universe consisting of 14 worlds, and the 4 types of gross bodies existing within this gross universe, and the food and water required for the sustenance of those gross bodies, or there is a creation of all of them. So this one paragraph presents what? The creation of the worlds, creation of gross bodies, and creation of food. So loka srishtihi, deha sharira srishtihi, and anna srishtihi, annapana srishtihi. Okay, food and water, he says. Utpatti bhavati. What do we understand now? They all come under the category of the gross creation, gross manifestation. Sthula prapanchaha. Sthula prapanchaha means immediately you should include what? Sthula prapanchaha means what? The food and water we enjoy. It includes also what? All the objects of perception enjoyed through all the senses. Also what? Food come under the category of the gross universe. And what about the gross bodies? Products of gross elements. What about the universe where we live? the atmosphere, the environment where we live, the universe, also what? The gross elements. Therefore, now all we are including in studying this Srishti, we have to notice one thing, subtle thing. The gross bodies are included in the gross universe as part of the gross manifestation, isn't it? As products of gross elements. So there is to understand what? All the 4 types of gross bodies are products of elements, elemental products. It's very, very clear. Okay. Now let us see the 105th sentence. I know sometimes it becomes very difficult, isn't it? Sometimes very difficult. Situations are very difficult. We have to bear with them, isn't it? We can't just do what we want to do. We may want to, but we should not do. We can't do. Then that is when you get very tired. Chaturvidha Sharirani tu Jarayuja Andaja Svedaja Udbija Akhyani. See this, when I was doing this Mandukya class recently, I mentioned briefly. There he doesn't elaborate because all kindergarten class lessons, but he doesn't include that. Before going to Mandukya, we must have understood all these things. He assumed that we know all those things. So here he is making it very clear. At least now you can learn clearly. Chaturvidha Sharirani means what? There are 4 types of physical bodies. And what are those 4 types of physical bodies? Jarayujani. Jarayujam. No? Jarayu means a womb. So Jarayujam means the womb-born beings. Womb-born bodies. He is going to explain later on. Then Andaja, Svedaja, Udbija. So the body is born of the womb and the body is born of the Anda means egg. Andaja, eggs, egg-born beings, egg-born bodies, womb-born bodies. Then Svedaja. Svedaha means sweat, But here the tiniest eggs, born, but still basically they come out of what? Moisture, isn't it? So moisture created tiniest egg-born beings are called what? Svedajani. Then Udbija Akhyani. There is also called Udbija means what, as I told you in that other class. Udbijani are the plants. The soil. Udbija means those the physical forms which come breaking the earth are called Udbijani. So all the plants. So these are the 4 types of gross bodies. Plant body, as the insect body, bird body, all the mammals, you can say, womb-born creatures. That. There is no 5th type of body here. Beautiful, isn't it? Don't need to worry about how many types of physical bodies are there. There are only 4 types of physical bodies. Very clear. You take any physical body, ask. It must come under any one of these 4. There is no 5th type of physical body here. He is explaining now. Jarayujani. Jarayubhyaha. Jatani. Manushya. Pashwadini. Jarayujani means Jarayubhyaha Jatani. Jarayu means womb. So the beings, the physical bodies which are born of the wombs, such as what? Manushya Pashwadini. Manushya means the human bodies are all Jarayujani, womb born physical bodies. And also Pashu means animals. The animal bodies, human bodies are all born of the womb. They are called Jarayujani. Then Andajani, Andebhyah Jatani, Pakshi, Pannagadini. Yeah. See, Andajani, Andebhyah Jatani. Those physical bodies born out of eggs. They are called what? Pakshi, birds. Pannagadini. Pannagaha actually means a snake. Okay. Any crawling creature is called what? Pannaga. Reptiles, snakes, etc. Isn't it? No? Anything crawling also born of eggs only. Birds and reptiles. Then Svedajani, Svedebhyah Jatani, Yuka, Mashakadini. So Svedaha, as I said, sweat, literally it means. But here, Sveda means what? The moisture. So, see, this moisture always, in the moisture, the tiniest eggs get created, and from those tiniest eggs born of the moisture, from them are born what? These moisture born tiny creatures, bodies, physical bodies. What are the words here? He says, Yuka Mashakadini, mosquito. Must be very familiar with the Indian, that's why. Mashakadini, Yuka. Yuka means not the lice you have in your hair, hair, lice. That's Svedajani, isn't it? All those bodies, all the insects also you can include. Yukamashakadini, you can see Shastram, anything they take, they discuss, they clean. Can you discover a body which does not physical form, a physical body which does not come under the category of these four? Tell me any one body. You can bring any body under any one of these four, isn't it? There is no physical form, physical body which does not come under any one of these four. Isn't it? Last one. Udbhijani. Udbhijani. In a plant, he says, Bhumim. Udbhidya. Jatani. Lata Vrikshadini. He said, Lata means a creeper, Vriksha means tree. The creeper, trees, all the plants in general, Bhumim Udbhidya Jatani. Bhumim Udbhidya Jatani. They breaking open the earth, they are born. Then people may ask this question, what about the aquatic ones? They all somewhere they break open. At least a seed, they have to break open, come out. And if you say, what about even sometimes no seed, just put this stem in the water, it still sprouts, isn't it? Which means that original sprout, even the stem must have come from the seed only. Understand? Therefore, what I am saying, Udbhijani, Bhumim Udbhidya Jatani, breaking open the earth, which are born, the physical forms, they are called the creepers, plants, etc., trees, etc., are called Udbhijani. But these are the four types of physical bodies. And all the physical bodies are what products of gross elements. They are produced of, created of these five elements alone. That's why Utpattihi, creation of the gross bodies, creation of the food and water required for the gross bodies, and the creation of the worlds where these gross bodies live, isn't it? All the three are what now? All of them are created from, they are products of the elements, gross elements only. Okay. Atrapi Chaturvidha. You can enjoy now. Work simple, easy lesson is coming up, isn't it? Chaturvidha, Sakala, Sthula Shariram, एक अनेक बुद्धिविषयतया वनवत् जलाशयवत् वा समष्टिः वृक्षवत् जलवत् वा व्यष्टिः अपि भवति. Here he says atra api. Atra means with reference to this physical, with reference to these worlds, with reference to physical bodies also, there is this discussion of the total and the individual. Samashtihi and Vyashtihi. What is Samashtihi? What is Vyashtihi? Isn't it? It's all in our how we see it. If you see, there is no such a thing. If you see all the trees together, we call it a forest. Isn't it? If you see the one separately, it is a tree. What is the tree? What is the forest? What is tree? What is forest? There is no forest without a tree, isn't it? Something called tree. Now what is a tree? There's not just a tree, it's a part of, isn't it? If you see it as one individual, it's a tree, otherwise it is totally is all the trees put together is what? Forest. Similarly, the water in a small quantity is called what? Water. The water in a, an immeasurable quantity is called what? A lake or pond, isn't it? Ocean. You say that. Therefore, it's called Vanavat Jalashayatva Samashtihi. What is forest? All the trees together is called, accumulation of all the trees put together is called a forest, and it's called Samashtihi, totality. But Jalashayaha means what? The water in immeasurable quantity is a what? It's a lake or pond, Jalashaya, reservoir of water. It's called Samashtihi. When you look at the same one tree, it's called what now? What is one tree? Vyashtihi, an individual tree. Vrikshaha means what? A tree is, an individual tree is called Vyashtihi, one tree. Similarly, Jalavat, a small container of water, a small container full of water, a small quantity of water is called just the water. Isn't it? So here also we have Vyashtihi, Samashtihi, the individual and the total. What is total? What is individual? Individual and total is exactly how you see it. If you totally see it, it is a total. If you see it individually, one separately, it's individual. There is no such thing called, which means all of them are, whether Vyashti or Samashti, all of them are what now? Substantially one. All of them are elemental. Whether the total gross universe or individual gross body, all of them are what? Basically elemental. There's no difference, isn't it? Sveshti, Samashti, difference is not there. There's no real difference. Substantially, the total cosmos is gross elements. Substantially, the physical body is also what? Elemental body. Okay. Yetat samashti upahitam chaitanyam Vaishwanaraha Virad iti uchyate. In this 111th sentence, this teacher is introducing Ishvara. What is Ishvara here again? See, we had to remember this. The absolute reality implied by the term Brahma, looked upon as the cause of the universe, is given this status of being the Lord of the universe. I'll repeat the sentence. The absolute reality implied by the term Brahman, looked upon as the cause of the universe, is given the status of being the Lord of the universe. Is it a complete sentence? Clear sentence? Okay. Okay? And then, and that reality identified with the creation. Reality as a cause, reality implied by the term Brahma, looked upon as the cause of the universe. Now, universe is given the status of being the Lord of the universe, and identified with, associated with that universe, isn't it? Is given a name as Ishvara, isn't it? That the Ishvara is also given, and the same, that reality identified with, associated with the total unmanifest universe is called what? Ishvaraha Antaryami. The same reality as a cause of the universe, as the Lord of the universe, identified with the subtle manifestation, is called Hiranyagarbha. Now he is saying the Ishvara, that's why there's no Ishvara. Only Ishvara is Brahma. That only Ishvara, the only Brahma, which is given the status of being the Lord of the universe, is given three different functional names as what? Antaryami Ishvaraha, Hiranyagarbheshwaraha. Now the third name is coming here. Third functional name. Etat samashti upahitam chait. Etat here means what? This gross universe. Okay? This entire gross universe consisting of what? Consisting of 14 worlds, 4 types of physical bodies, and the appropriate food and water for sustaining these bodies. All of them come under the category of the gross manifestation. So, and this Etat samashti upahitam, this gross universe. So the upahitam chaitanyam. So this consciousness, the absolute reality, the consciousness Brahma, associated with, identified with this gross universe, total gross manifestation, is called what? Vaishvanaraha, Virat. 2 names. Antaryami Ishvaraha, isn't it? Hiranyagarbha. Now we have, now also Prajapati becomes. And here we have what? Vaishvanaraha and Virat. What is Virat? Name of the function, one of the functional name of the only Lord. Virat. One Vaishvanaraha, another word. And what these 2 names, Vaishvanaraha and Virat, are the names attributed to the Lord, only Lord, when identified with, associated with the gross manifestation. When you look at Ishvara as the cause of the gross universe, you look at Ishvara as the Lord of the gross universe, you call him Virat Vaishvanaraha. Is it clear now? The next sentence, he is explaining why this Chaitanyam associated with this entire gross universe is called Virat or Vaishvanaraha, isn't it? Sarvanara Abhimanitvat Vividham Rajamanatvat cha Vividham Rajamanatvat cha Sarvanara Abhimanitvat Vividham Rajamanatvat cha. See, Sarva Nara Abhimanitvat Vaishvanaraha iti uchyate. See, Vaishvanaraha means, to understand, the Naraha means Jivas. Okay? And Vishwa means all. So, Vaishvanaraha means the one who is identified with all the Jivas. The Ishvara who is identified with all the jivas is called Vaishvanaraha. And Vividham Rajamanatvat. The only Ishvara who alone shines as all the beings. Every wave, water alone shines as every wave, isn't it? Similarly, the only reality Brahman, as the Lord of the universe, as the cause of the universe, which alone shines as all the forms. Varieties of innumerable countless forms. That one thing alone which shines as innumerable countless forms and names is called Virat. Vividham. Now, that which alone shines as varied forms and names is called Vividham Rajamanatvat. Rajamanam is shining. Rajamanatvat Virat. The only Lord appearing as manifold forms is called Virat. And the only Lord identified with all the jivas is called what? Vaishvanaraha. The indestructible in every being is called what? Naraha. Isn't it? Vishwa means all. The one who is identified with all the beings, all the jivas, is called Vaishvanaraha. Got it now? Now you understood what now? You understood Ishvara. Ishvara as the cause of the gross universe. Brahman as the cause of the gross universe, who is given the status of being the Lord of the universe, is given the names here. Therefore, all the three different functional names of the only Lord. Asya Yesha Samashtihi Sthula Shariram Annavikaratvat Annamaya Koshaha Sthula Bhogayatana Sthula Bhogayatanatvat Cha Sthula Shariram Jagrat iti cha Vyapadishyate. See, Asya Yesha Samashtihi. Samashtihi Sthula Shariram Annavikaratvat Annamaya Koshaha. This gross body, okay? This gross body being Annavikaratvat, being the modification of the food. The physical body, nothing but the modified form of food. It's called what? Annamaya Koshaha. Nice to learn easy things, isn't it? You all heard it in Tattva Bodha. So, rest is okay. Again, you're repeating. So, it's only Annamaya Kosha, you know. And the Annamaya Kosha also can enslave you. Remember that. So, Annamayatvat. Annamaya Koshaha. Annavikaratvat Annamaya Koshaha. This physical body is called what? Annamaya Kosha. Because nothing but modified form of the food. And this is called Koshaha. Koshavata Achadakatvat Kosha ityuchyate. And it cannot really cover the Atma. It seems to be covering the Atma. Because of the ignorance, when this physical body is mistaken for the Atma, it seems to be covering the Atma. Therefore, it cannot really cover the Atma. It's called what? Annamaya Koshaha. And then Sthula bhoga ayatanatvat. Not only that, bhoga ayatanatvat. It happens to be the gross, abode of enjoyment. Sthula bhoga ayatanatvat. An abode of enjoyment of the gross universe also. Sthula shariram jagrat iti cha vyapadishyate. Which means, it is in the sthula shariram, this gross universe serves as an abode of enjoyment of the external gross universe only in the waking state. In dream state, this gross body is not an abode of enjoyment, isn't it? Only in the waking state it's an abode of enjoyment. Because in dream state and deep sleep state, you withdraw yourself, isn't it? You are resolved there. No identity with the body in dream state, or no identity with the gross body or in dream or in deep sleep state. Therefore, then it doesn't serve as an abode of enjoyment. This physical body serves as an abode of enjoyment only in the waking state. Therefore, it is called vyapadishyate. It also known as the abode of enjoyment. Etad vyashti upahitam chaitanyam vishva ityuchyate sukshma sharira abhimanam aparityajya sthula shariradi pravishtatvat. So another subtle point is mentioned here, which is not said in Tattvabodha. Etad vyashti upahitam chaitanyam. Now, having said that, the same way how we see the tree, what is a tree? As a single one you call it as tree. In totality you call as trees as forest. Similarly here, what is Vyashti and Samashti? Isn't it? The whole gross universe is Samashtihi, Sthula Prapancha. The individual body is what? Vyashtihi. And this individual body, which is called Bhoga Ayatanam, abode of enjoyment in the waking state. And this being the modified form of food is called Annamaya Koshaha. Annamaya Koshaha. It doesn't really cover the Atma, it cannot cover the Atma, it seems to be covering the Atma. Therefore, it's also said what? It's known as a Kosha. Annamaya Koshaha. Isn't it? A physical layer of personality. Isn't it? The food layer of personality. And here, the Vyashti Upahitam Chaitanyam. And this consciousness, the Brahman, the consciousness, the all pervasive reality, identified with this individual physical body. Vyashti Upahita means what? Individual physical body. Associated with, identified with the gross individual physical body is called Vishwaha. And when the consciousness obtaining in the individual, identified, associated with the individual physical body, without giving up its identity with the subtle body, it also identifies itself with the gross body. Isn't it? See, you have to notice one important thing here. When you say the eye sense is identified with gross body, whenever there is identity with the gross body, identity is still with the subtle body also. Isn't it? So in the waking state, your identity is with both subtle and the gross. In dream, identity is only with the subtle. In deep sleep state, no identity at all. So non-identity in deep sleep state, subtle identity in dream state, isn't it? And in total identity, subtle and the gross in the waking state. That's why Vishwaha, Purna Abhivyaktihi, total manifestation is when? Only in waking state. That's called Vishwaha. Vishwaha means what? The total manifestation, the total identity. So in deep sleep state, non-identity. There is no identity in deep sleep state. That is why you have no pain, no problem, nothing you miss in the world. Better fall asleep, okay? When you miss anything, try to sleep. But when you miss something, you can't sleep. So try to sleep. It's the only way you can escape. And then, if you don't sleep, then you will be missing the more. Keeping like an old, working the whole night, and you'll miss everything. So what are you missing? And then you have to take mind from what you're missing to what? To something better, something which will help you avoid missing. Then try to fall asleep. Anyway, that's a different thing. It's not something to do with the teaching here. So in deep sleep state, non-identity. In dream state, there is subtle identity. In waking state, total gross identity also. What's called what? Now, without, so aparityajya, sukshma sharira abhimanam aparityajya means without giving up the identity with the subtle body. No, there is also identification of consciousness with the gross body. Isn't it? That's called what? Then, the consciousness identified with the gross body along with the identity with the subtle body is called what? Vishwaha. Your identity is only with the subtle body, Taijasaha. Is with the gross body, then Vishwaha. Asya api yesha vyashtihi sthula shariram anna vikaratvat eva hetoho annamaya koshaha jagraditi cha uchyate. So, asya api yesha vyashtihi. Whether the individual gross body or the total gross body, isn't it? The total gross universe is what? Gross body of Ishvara. Individual gross body is what? Gross body of the individual, Jiva, isn't it? Individual gross body is said to be Jiva Shariram. The total gross universe is said to be Ishvara Shariram. Samashti is the Ishvara Deha. Vyashti is the Jiva Deha. Individual body is the, isn't it? Vyashti Sthula Shariram is the Jivas in Jiva Deha. Samashti is what? Total is Ishvara Deha, that's all. But both are what? We can say modified form of the food. Nothing but, the total gross universe is this, everything is what? Modified form of food alone. The word is called what? Annamaya Koshaha. And then it is when it's also an abode of enjoyment only in the waking state. For the same thing is applicable for the jiva also. Okay, I'll stop here. We'll continue in the next class. 114. Next class we can do something. We will enter into the all other like settle understand all other schools of thought and their views of creation and finally negate. Something interesting is going to come. All these days what you understood, no? It's good. Vyasa is a beautiful text actually. Unfortunately, because of the break we had, it's a lot of things. Is it clear? In fact, we must have studied this first. Then we must have gone to that. Leaving the kindergarten, we have gone to Masters Montecchio. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat Shri Bhyo Namah. Hari Om.